Hey there. So today in our Facebook group, we discussed some really important topics for coaches. And we talked about the three phases that coaches need to go through in order to get to the six-figure mark. And that's the set phase, the serve phase, and the scale phase. And you have to go through them in order. That's how I teach it anyway. So basically, I'll just break down the sets for you or the phases for you. And if you're kind of like wondering what phase you're in, you can DM me and we can talk about what you're doing in your business right now and how we can bring you to the next one. So basically the set phase is where you're literally setting everything up in your business. You are setting up your website, you're working on your calendar, you're setting your hours, you're getting your message across of who you help and how you help them. You're getting your social media platforms working for you with planned content and strategy. You're just kind of doing all of the background stuff. And this is probably the phase where you're most working hard in. You're going to be spending a lot of time in front of your computer setting everything up. That's why it's called the set phase. And the biggest problem with the set phase is that a lot of coaches like to hang out here because coaches are very creative, they're very generous, so they really like to spend time making things and putting out a lot of energy in order to build up their business. They are a little bit timid to move into this serve phase, even though they kind of want to move there, but they really feel comfortable setting things up. They really feel comfortable spending time in Canva or Photoshop and working on their website, and they're constantly rebranding because in the backs of their minds, they're really scared to move into the next phase. And I really want to encourage you, if you feel in your heart that you've spent plenty of time in the set phase and you're ready to move forward, just take a step forward and move into the serve phase because that's where the clients are. That's where you're working with clients. This is where you are working with as many clients as you want every quarter or however long your one-on-one programs last. This is where you're just really in the thick of working one-on-one with people because every client is completely different, but they all really do have something in common. Is the one thing is that they want help from you, and the method of you helping them, whether it's one-on-one or through your group coaching program. But in the serve phase, we're really just working on the one-on-one stuff. So you're kind of filling your way of how you work one-on-one with people, how the client-coach relationship is, all of those things that we all question in Google. I remember when I first started, I didn't know if I should send over a contract. I didn't know how we should host our calls. I didn't know when I should send reminders, all these back-end things that you don't even think about until you actually get a client. Those are all the things that we set up in Stand Out Coaching Academy in the serve phase and the set phase. Those are all really big, important things because I really teach you to get set up for clients in every single way. So let's say somebody came to your house or they DM'd you and said, I want to work with you right now. You would be ready for them. So we can't complain that we're not getting any clients when we're not actually set up for clients, right? It's like complaining that nobody visits you at your house, but you're like never home or your house isn't set up. So we got to get your house set up. You have to be there. You have to be ready. You can't be busy doing other things and complaining that nobody's coming over and not even listening to the doorbell. You got to be prepared for them. And that's what we do through that set and serve phase. So you can spend as long as you want in the serve phase. And some people are really happy in the serve phase and they'll spend years there. Or some people will spend a couple quarters in the serve phase and they'll say, okay, I'm ready to scale. And scaling means that you're treating your business differently. You have bigger CEO eyes and you're ready to kind of step back, step away from the computer and kind of see how this is actually going to be in 5 or 10 years. And that requires you to not work in peaks of income. So when you're working one-on-one with people, you might have a spike of income and then it's going to go down, a big spike and it's going to go down. But when you scale, you're going to have a big spike. And as you feel out your scale phase, it's going to be bigger spikes, right? But as you go through that, if you give it a year plus and you've done it for a while, then that's when your scale phase is kind of like this instead of these jagged peaks. It's just a nice increase, right? And that's so important when you're taking care of a family, when you're trying to replace a full-time job, when you're trying to really think about this big picture. because yeah, it sounds great to quit your job and all of the things that we see all these people doing all the time, but I want to be able to see that my business is rock solid, and I want to see that it's going to hit that scale phase nicely. No more of these big highs and lows in your income because you're solely relying on one-on-one work. So that's kind of where we move through. So in the workbook in our that we went through today in the Facebook group, I asked you guys, what phase are you in? Are you in the set phase, the serve phase, or the scale phase? And what phase are you kind of wanting to be in now, and maybe you're ready to move forward? And if you have questions as to whether or not you want to move forward with somebody who knows how to get through all these phases, let me know. This is literally how Standout Coaching Academy is built. It is built into 3 phases, the set, serve, scale. And we go through all of them at your own pace, and you can spend as much time as you want on each one, but you have to do them in order. And that's the beauty of it, because when you do everything, it all will come together really nicely, and you won't have any of those crazy moments in your business where you're like, what the heck did I just create? This is too much. This is a very simplified model, and it's not about you creating all these different programs and products and launching a billion times anymore. It's about you just having your direct vision, your program, and you working with your clients, and that's it. You can totally do it. It's easy. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. You can certainly join our free Facebook group, dreamclientcommunity.com, just the fancy URL. And I'm in there all of the time this week live, teaching you guys all of the things that it takes for you to create your 6-figure business. And I'd love to see you in there too.